Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. It's Tuesday, Lo-Fi Nation, and you know what that means. It's time for Tuesday's Top 10 list. And for today's show, we're doing our complimentary list to last week. While last week we did the 10 most spoken first languages, this week we're doing the least spoken first languages on Earth. But before we jump into the list, as always, we like to talk just a bit about our data. And today, there's extra good reason for it. You see, last week we used the Ethnologue Study of Languages of the World 2020 report, and we will use some of it for our analysis after the list today. But as far as least spoken languages goes, Ethnologue didn't make that list readily available. Money, that's all I'll say. So instead, I cross-referenced multiple sources and decided to go with the World Atlas list of 10 least spoken first languages. And while I did find a small amount of variation across multiple sources, for the most part, all the lists have exactly what World Atlas does. So now, enough talk, let's just jump into it. Coming in at number 10, Habiot, 100 speakers in the Southern Arabian Peninsula. Number 9, Karem, 80 speakers in Eastern Europe/Eurasia. Number 8, Wimisori, 70 speakers in Poland. Number 7, Kafundu Creole, 40 speakers in Brazil. Number 6, Rama, 24 speakers in Nicaragua. Now to our bottom 5, and tied for number 5, both in Peru, Toshiro and Chimicura, with 20 speakers each about. Number 3, Ongata, 12 speakers in Ethiopia. Number 2, Nunjerip, 6 speakers in Nigeria. And coming in at number 1, and the least spoken language in the world, first languages, Limerick, with only 2 speakers in the country of Vanuatu. Now, let's talk about this list, about dying languages, and the importance of languages in general. Firstly, all 10 of these languages here are considered dying languages, whether they have 2 people speaking them or 100 people speaking them. And for the most part, we can expect these languages on this list to disappear completely from use within the next generation. But what's more, and to switch to a bit of our data from the Ethnologue report, at the moment on Earth, Ethnologue reports that there are about 986 dying languages on Earth. And that's out of their reported total languages of 7,139. So 14% of languages on the planet are dying languages. And they continue to really define what a dying language is, which I think is pretty important for our conversation. And the short version is that in the population of a dying language, the native speakers/speakers that use the language as a first language are all older than the childbearing age. Now, what does that mean exactly? It means that children generally learn how to speak. They learn language from their parents. But native speakers in dying language groups are too old to have children now. And their children speak a different language predominantly. And they teach that new language to their children. Hence, many of these dying languages will disappear from use in one generation. And there's currently 986 languages in this category. Now, if you've ever been to a country outside of your own, that's native language is different than yours, and you don't speak that language, it may be frustrating for you to try and get by in the country. But then you find one shop, one restaurant, where someone knows your language, and you are so happy. If your language is on the rise and being used, then the dwindling away of other languages, well, it bodes well for you. It also means that in general, more people will be able to understand each other. The world will more easily be able to communicate with each other. Seems great, right? Let's bring the world together. Yes, everyone speak the same language. But if language is part of culture, and culture is who we are, it's our history of where we've been, of what we've been through, then there's about 986 different groups of people that are losing their culture. But in many ways, Culture always changes over time, right? It's natural. As we move on, generation after generation, our experiences, even within our own cultural groups, do vary by generation and thus influence how we see ourselves. And some people really dig picking up new things from different cultures and incorporating them into themselves and their own identity. However, some people guard their culture and their history fiercely. They don't want their sense of identity to be lost or forgotten. And I completely get that. I'll leave you with a series of questions today and some food for thought. And definitely get at me with your thoughts. But what's more important to you? Evolving your own sense of identity and culture through incorporating different cultural practices into your own? Or safeguarding your identity and culture from being diluted by different cultural practices? Or is culture and language really not all that important? I'm curious your thoughts. And that's this Tuesday's Top 10 list. Issue 6 of Letters of the Lofi Poli Sci comes out Saturday. Get at me to be added to the emailing list. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Peace and well-being to all my human beings out there. Much love and always the best. Pickering, signing off.